Welcome into the Tour Coach, everybody. I'm your host here, Tony Ruggiero. If you've been following along, we've expanded the Tour Coach. I couldn't possibly express my appreciation enough for all of the following, all of the comments. If you're new to this, these are conversations, they're stories, roundtable discussions with the people that I meet, I teach with, coach, run into all around my travels in the world of golf and golf instruction, from Mobile, Alabama in my little studio down to where I'm based out of at Old Palm and Palm Beach Gardens, to the Corn Ferry, the Live, the PGA Tours, wherever it is that teaching the game of golf takes us, and the great team that I've got around me. So I appreciate everybody following us and listening. We've got some great content coming out soon. There's great stuff out there now. I want to encourage everybody, if you like what you hear here, please follow us on any of the channels that you get your podcasts. Please feel free to like us, comment on us, tell us what you want to hear, what you like. All of that helps spread the word and helps get us out there. I appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And I really want to point out that if you like what you hear here, you can also follow us on YouTube at Dew Sweeper TV. It's Dew Sweeper TV. And we've got content coming out daily, from videos from our teaching from around the world of golf, as well as our roundtable discussions. We've also been going live and doing some live instruction content where you can watch along live as we work with students and players. So please check out Dew Sweeper TV. Keep following along and listening here to the Tour Coach, and follow us on all our social programs. Me and the whole team are very appreciative of it. And before we jump into this discussion, couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, especially a big shout out to my boy Mitch McConnell, McConnell Automotive in Buick, Blaine Stokely, Vineyard Vines, Shrixon Cleveland Golf, Bushnell, and Ed Rowan at Taylor, Martino, and Rowan. They keep the Dew Sweepers, they keep the Tour Coach, and they keep the pro work all rolling right along. Couldn't do it without them. Appreciate their support. And here we are with another Tour Coach.
We're doing the mini.
All right, mini podcasts. These are my favorite.
These are great.
More mini than his regular ones?
Yeah, quick hits. They're like 10 to 12 minutes.
Perfect.
They can even be shortened.
That's what, yeah, I would do those with him. That's good.
Dr. Greg Cartin.
Jackson.
One in the Dew Sweeper gang. I have players all the time that say they don't want to think on the golf course.
Right.
How the heck can instructors bridge that gap from what we're trying to get somebody to get better at?
Yeah.
But get them to not think out there?
It's a great question. And you can't not think. Right? You can't go to a lesson and then go out on the golf course that day or the next day or the day after and not think about what you did in that lesson, what you're supposed to do. But that's not a problem. It's okay to think about it. So, actually, Tony and I have done this a bunch. So, while he's giving lessons, there will be a certain point where they're working on a specific move, and I'll stop it and say, okay, hold, wait. Get that club in that position. And where in your body do you feel that?
Okay.
Right. Oh, I feel it in my right glute, or I feel it in my right wrist. And what's it feel like? Well, it feels tight, or it feels compressed, or whatever it may be.
Yep.
Great. Now, that's what you think about on the golf course.
That's what you feel on the golf course.
Yeah, or you try to recreate that feel.
Yeah, I love that.
So my objective is not to put it in the position Tony told me to put it in, or you told me to put it in. I want to recreate that feel. And I'm going to recreate that feel in a practice swing, and then I'm going to step in, I'm going to try to recreate that feel. And if I can do that, I'm getting better.
All the time in lessons, people ask, well, should I feel this or should I do that? Am I on the right track in thinking, however that person in front of me needs the information? Drill, feel, visual, right? Like, I've got a guy, I swear he doesn't like me, doesn't want me there, but he just pays me to watch his swing on TV, right? Yeah. And he gets better because we kind of talk about it, but I don't do anything. Like, I've learned that's his... Anyways, so if I, like Adam Schreiber used to talk about this, mouse-trapping people in the right direction to get that feel, and then just letting them go with that, because it's funny how sometimes people will say they feel something, and I see that as incorrect.
Right.
So then I do something else to get them to feel correct and push them towards an area.
Feel is so subjective.
Correct.
And that's where teachers face their biggest challenge, like in terms of trying to communicate what something should feel like, right?
Right. That's where you got to, however they need the info, you give them that piece so that they can verbalize it back to you.
Right. And I think like when you add like a Colby or an Aaron to the lesson where they can actually, it's not even about the golf swing. It's about the physical move, right? That you need to work on or do if you want to get the club in that position. I mean, we may be getting off topic a little bit, but I think teachers, especially more nowadays, have huge challenges. Because one, you're trying to teach them something that doesn't necessarily help them right away on the golf course, right? Like, it doesn't mean that because they're in the bay and they got this move down that it's going to transfer to the golf course.
Correct.
So it's a real challenge to, not only are you teaching technique, but, you know, good teachers or coaches teach them how to play golf too. And this is, I think, what we're getting into. Like, how do you bring this with you to the golf course? And I think at these camps for years, the message has always been, you go do your work in the bay, you bring something with you to the golf course, and you commit to that, whatever it is, regardless of the results, in the best environment to practice on the golf course. In a somewhat of a competitive situation, like they play in the afternoon, and guys used to struggle with that until we sort of got that message across. Like, yeah, you're out here playing for something little, whatever it may be, or competing, but if you can commit to what you've been working on with your instructor, and make that your objective on every shot, regardless of where it's going, and not abandon it for 9 holes or 18 holes, you're getting better.
See what happens.
Just see what happens, because then you can learn from that.
Wow.
Now, you may go a week with that move and it doesn't feel right. And now the student has some, hey, I tried this for a week. I committed to it every time. I'm not getting it. Right? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
It's so challenging, I think, as it relates to that. But it doesn't mean they can't hit good golf shots when they're making improvements either.
When Tony was working with Bill Haas, I will never forget this in Greenville. They were working on something on the range, and he's obviously pretty picky because he's a phenomenal golfer.
Yeah.
And they were working on something, I don't even remember what it was, but he liked it, and he was kind of running with it, which was kind of rare for Bill.
Right.
And so he's hitting balls, and Tony kind of lets him go, right? Like, he's got the fish on the line, and he's just kind of letting him run a little bit, right? And he's like hitting it good and kind of sitting back there and watching. And Bill, after a couple minutes, says, you know, every time I won, I had a backswing feel, and I would hit a shot.
I love that.
I thought that was incredible.
Yeah. So the message I get to the guys I work with is it's not even about hitting good shots. Like, your objective is to make a swing that feels free. Like, where there's no tension, there's no indecision.
Right.
And if you do that, if you're working on the right things, if you can make a swing where you feel free, you're going to hit pretty good golf shots or acceptable golf shots.
That's interesting. So I think that free feeling is the disconnect between the change of the difference in the feel.
Correct. It's all controlled.
Wow.
Yeah. And the idea is if you can swing free, whatever that means, everyone knows what that means if you play golf.
Okay.
Versus with tension or indecision, chances are you're going to hit good enough shots.
Yeah. So just thinking selfishly now, I have to do a better job. I think I do okay at getting people to create and recreate their own feel. But there's a big difference between that feel and freedom.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think maybe you introduce 10 minutes of the end of the lesson or 15 minutes where the student is just hitting balls. You turn off the numbers.
Yeah.
And you really have them hit shots or make swings with some intent and freedom as best they can. You observe, but there's no numbers. And you see how the ball flies and let them learn from that.
Yeah, shut up.
And not shut up, but like you're still instructing them.
Sure.
But now it's more about feel versus flight and how it's supposed to look versus I need to get in this position to achieve this path and my ball speed is this. and there's no carry distances. Man, people love making free swings and hitting the golf ball, right? And I think that's sometimes it's lost in our attempt to hit really good shots.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'd go as far as saying golfers sometimes would prefer to play 18 holes and swing free and shoot 75 versus 18 holes and steer it all over the place and shoot 74. Right? Like,
right.
It's a better score, but man, those rounds beat you down. So
reunited and it feels so good.
Doc, that was perfect.
Jackson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This won't be the last time.
No, we'll do it again.
Go Bruins?
Go Bruins.
Not.
Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero. And look, recently, several teachers I know and several players have had some scares with skin cancer. In fact, I recently went and saw a dermatologist here in town, and I had a couple things frozen off, eyelid, my face, my earlobe, and not getting any younger. And I know it's getting to that time of the season where it's cooler, but look, being in the sun is a real deal, and I've not been very good, to be totally honest, my whole career at using it at all because I didn't like how greasy it was, how hard it was to get off your hands, how it clogged up my pores. And then I found this sunscreen, Visor Skincare. It's clear, it goes on, it doesn't dry you out, it isn't greasy, it's like you didn't put anything on it. By far, it's the best sunscreen I've ever used. Without a doubt, is the easiest to use. And we've got a discount code for all of you. All you have to do is go to visorskincare.com, is use our code word Dew Sweeper. Visorskincare.com, code word Dew Sweeper. I just want to remind everybody something that I forgot. Recently, a couple weeks ago, my wife and I went out. We went to a wedding, and afterwards with some friends, we were like, hey, where's a great place to go? I'll be honest, like, in my travels and day-to-day, sometimes I get caught up and I forget some of the great places right around the corner. But I got to remind you about the Icebox Bar on 755 Monroe Street. I was blown away by just the whole vibe, the atmosphere, and with the Velvet Pig, the food in the back room, and the big screen TVs up front. We sat there and watched some playoff games. I was blown away by the atmosphere, the vibe, and just how cool it was to have the Icebox Bar right here near the Dew Sweepers downtown, near where I live. If you're looking for a great place to go sit, watch some games, hang out, play some pool, you got to go to the Icebox Bar right there on Monroe Street. There's a good chance you'll see all of us hanging out. But do yourself a favor, go visit the Icebox. It's one of the best places out there.